Shalom, my friends. Welcome to this week's news update. We're going to start off with the update on Gaza. We have clashes with Israeli border police occurring in Jerusalem just this past Wednesday, July 2nd. And Molotov cocktails were just part of the chaos. On the following day, July 3rd, a rocket fired by Palestinian militants landed in the southern town of Sderot. A Palestinian man inspects the damage following an overnight Israeli airstrike in Gaza City, while another inspects a crater caused by the same Israeli airstrike, and yet another checks the damages of a Hamas training camp. And smoke rises in the aftermath. Can you imagine seeing this kind of activity going on in your neighborhood? On the front of our Iraq update, originally it was ISIS, the Islamic State of Al-Sham, and then it became ISIL, the Islamic State of Levant, and now it's just been simplified to IS, the Islamic State. But the IS's Iraqi leader, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, remains in deep hiding and has hardly ever been photographed. These two shots are the best pictures I could find on Google. On the other hand, we have Omar al-Shishani, a 28-year-old red-bearded ethnic Chechen, whose real name is Tarkhan Batirashvili, and he has very quickly become one of the most prominent commanders in the breakaway Al-Qaeda group that's been overrunning Iraq and Syria these past few weeks. Al-Shishani is an example of the international nature of IS. The Islamic State is what is called a caliphate. In al-Shishani's own words, I quote, "Our aim is clear, and everyone knows why we are fighting. Our path is toward the caliphate." The Chechens are some of the most heartless, fiercest, most demon-possessed murderers operating in the Middle East. And ethnicity is not as much a concern to Islam. It's dedication to jihad that matters most. Syria's civil war, now in its 4th year, has attracted militants from all over the world. Some estimates run as high as 10,000 foreign fighters in the country, but the Chechens, hardened from years of war with Russia, are considered some of the best fighters. Hussein Nasser, spokesman for the Islamic Front coalition group of rebels, said, quote, "A Chechen comes and has no idea about anything in the Middle East and does whatever his leader tells him. Even if his emir tells him to kill a child, he would do it." Close quote. Al-Shishani has been the group's military commander in Syria, leading it on an offensive to take over a broad stretch of territory leading to the Iraq border. However, he may have risen to become the group's overall military chief, a position that has been vacant ever since Abu Abdul Rahman al-Bilawi al-Anbari, etc., etc., was killed in the Iraqi city of Mosul in early June. And as operations in Iraq and Syria grow more and more interdependent by the day, it is very possible that al-Shishani may be the one who assumes total military leadership. Note, some Arab media organizations have reported that al-Shishani was killed in the fighting, But the truth is that he suffered wounds in his right arm and was taken into Iraq, where he underwent treatment before returning to Syria, and has recently appeared multiple times in photos and videos. What we see going on here, my friends, are the IS, the Al-Qaeda, Islamic forces wanting to erase borders. And we are looking at the very countries that we see listed in Psalm 83. On the American front, the federal government is moving large numbers of illegal aliens to various locations throughout America. You can see by the red triangles that illegal aliens have been relocated to centers in Pennsylvania, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Arizona, California, and Texas, where 4 centers are being populated. President Obama thinks this is a good idea, and he refers to the border fences as a statement of racism in America. The American government was originally intended to be of the people, by the people, and for the people. However, I'm afraid this is no longer the case, my friends, as government officials have all but buried the Constitution of the United States and what it stands for. Is this just another way of bringing Sharia law into the United States? Flash. Today, it's reported that the feds will be bringing in the riot squad to Murrieta, California, against protesters of illegal immigration. Texas Governor Rick Perry says, quote, "Obama is either inept or he doesn't care," close quote. The president's increasing use of executive orders is causing much discussion from conservatives to right-wingers about impeaching Obama. And this has been going on in these conversations over the past few weeks. Now, on a personal note, I spent some time with President Obama last night. We were hanging out, and usually I would refer to him as Mr. President, but occasionally, in the interest of irritating him, I would call him George. I don't know why, but occasionally I was calling him George. And we wound up at one point in the White House. We were in the bathroom, and Barry, President Obama, was washing his hands. And he had both faucets open, full blast. The sink was filling up with water, and at one point it was cresting as much as 2 inches over the front lip of the sink, and like a waterfall, just pouring all over the floor. I looked down, and the floor, all white porcelain, it had a large drain in the center of the floor. It looked just like a toilet bowl, and the water was just being flushed down. The faucets were both under where the water was coming out of the faucets. That was underwater in the sink. The handles were above water. I turned one of them off, and he immediately stopped me and opened it back up. And he says, "When you do this, you do it this way. Understand?" And I mean, the water was just... Now I have to tell you, my friends, my dreams are strange. And, you know, I understood this. Obama is flushing America down the drain, and he's washing his hands of it. That's understandable, but why I had that dream, I have no idea. The point is, the American dollar is in peril as the global de-dollarization trend accelerates. This is a phrase that's been started up in Russia, the de-dollarization. China and South Korea have just signed a major agreement to trade with each other using their own currencies instead of the dollar. And even the French officials are talking about using the euro instead of the dollar. U.S. goods are going to start rising in costs more and more, my friends, and it's going to cost the federal government a whole lot more to borrow as well. The Obama administration is alienating friends all over the globe, including in America. That's my newscast for this week. Be well, my friends, and I'll see you next time. Shalom.
Peace, bone, peace, bone.